Hi everyone, Heidi here. It's been kind of ages since I've done one of these videos, but today we are going to talk about responding to others about our decision to unschool our children. I'm going to narrow that down a little bit to family members, and I'm also going to make some assumptions because the discussion sort of changes depending on your relationship with your extended family. So I'm going to assume that your extended family are involved with your children's lives in some way, and to some extent, whatever that might look like and to whatever degree, but that they have some form of contact with them. And I'm also going to make an assumption that relationships in your family are fairly reasonable or erring towards strong, and that is the basis on which I'm going to talk about how we respond to them in their concerns over us choosing to unschool our children. Okay, so I'm going to start with us being prepared that these people who love us and love our children have these concerns and voice these concerns, and us being prepared to give them an answer, which rather puts the onus on us to have an answer. And that won't always be the case, and that is equally okay. It's okay to say, do you know, I don't know about that right now, but we're going to find out, or I know someone I can ask, or we're not quite ready to answer that question yet. That's not the stage we're at. It's okay not to have an answer, but it's also really useful to have an answer. So this is about you, doing the research, doing the reading, doing the work, listening to those podcasts, reading the blogs, buying the books, you getting to know as much as you can about unschooling as you can, which of course you're doing anyway, because you want to know all the things so that you can implement them into your family life, your children's educational journey. So that's the first point I wanted to make: being prepared to give an answer, be prepared to have these conversations with your extended family, when they're asking you all the questions about unschooling and this choice that you have made. The second thing, is at the same time setting up boundaries, because it's really important that we recognise that these are the decisions that we are making in our family for our children. They are not decisions that your extended family get to make for you. Okay, so even if they're struggling and there's some disagreement or confusion, or those concerns really develop into sort of strong concerns, and they have some heavy advice for you, maintaining a boundary for yourself, within yourself, knowing this is your decision. It's your family and they're your children. Okay? It can be really hard, particularly for our own parents, for example, because we are making different decisions to the ones that they made for us. So our parents can have their own work to do in terms of trying to understand why we've made those decisions, not seeing it necessarily as a reflection upon them and the choices that they made. There's lots going on, and it is very complex. So for us to know within ourselves that, and to set that boundary that says, I'm happy to talk to you about this, I'm happy to answer your questions, I'm happy for you to be involved in our lives, but they don't get to dictate what happens in our lives. They don't get to influence our educational choices as such. You know, we set that boundary that says this is our choice. You are welcome here, but this is, you know, our family now and our children, and these are the decisions that we have made for them. And then the third thing that I think is really helpful when we are living in relationship with extended family, and you know, they're not quite understanding what's going on and what unschooling looks like or what that means long term, and all that's going on. The third thing that I think really helps is when our extended family are in contact with us and with our children, that we set up those outings or those meetings or those days together. We set those up for success, because our children aren't learning the same thing at the same time as schooled children, and that is our experience, that is our parents' experience, that is what is perpetuated out in the wider world, and our children aren't following those timelines. They're not following them developmentally, and they're not following them in terms of their learning. You know, they're not learning about the Great Fire of London when they're 7 years old, and they're not doing, I don't know, growth and photosynthesis when they're 10 years old. They might be, but it's not a set plan. They're just doing that as part of their everyday life. So without this structure to hold on to, without this predictability of what is happening, we need to help our children and our family to find a common ground. Because quite frequently, extended family will ask really common questions like, you know, what are you doing at school? Well, our children aren't at school, so they can't ask that question, and it's just an example of how at sea they can feel in the relationship with our children. So setting up for success is really useful. So we can say to our extended family, you know, little Florence has been collecting nature items when we've been to the beach and the woods, and she would really love to show you what she's collected. Okay, so it just gives them, you know, a meeting point, something our children and our extended family can do together. You know, like, you know, Louise has been really enjoying this craft box that she gets once a month, and she would really love to show you all the things that she's made, so they can do that together. Or you know, Peter's got this video game that he loves, and he'd really love to sit and show you what it is. Similarly with days out, setting those up for success. You know, saying, oh, we're going to get together today, let's go to the beach. You know, set it up with something that your family are going to enjoy and your children are going to enjoy. If your children don't enjoy going to the beach, that's a rubbish option. Okay, don't do that. You know, choose something like, you know, go to a local museum, go for a walk in the woods, go butterfly spotting, you know, go swimming, whatever it is. Choose something that everybody's going to enjoy and set the day up for success. So those are my 3 things that I think will help you in responding to your family's concerns. So that's being prepared to give an answer and engage in conversations with them, especially if they are genuinely concerned and they're genuine conversations. Holding those boundaries and knowing this is your family and your choice, okay? And then setting up for success.